Oh my God, look at you.
That kind of know me enough that it was cool. I love the lighting.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Barry Morgenstein. I'm a headshot photographer based out of New York City. I travel to the DC, Virginia area, Florida, Nashville to shoot headshots. I shoot portraits for everybody, actors, attorneys, doctors, newscasters, hosts. I grew up in Teaneck, New Jersey. I'm the son of Sylvia and Bill Morgenstein. Bill Morgenstein from Brooklyn, New York. Sylvia Morgenstein from Birmingham, Alabama. My childhood was great. It was kind of a normal childhood growing up in the 70s. Like sports in the beginning until I discovered music, and then kind of left the sports behind and became a music lover.
What were you?
I was probably maybe 12 years old. My aunt bought me a copy of Meet the Beatles, and never been the same since. I loved listening for a while. I started playing instruments. Maybe a few years later, I became a drummer. Then I took piano lessons. Then I found my real love was guitar. And that kind of leads up to how I got into photography. Is basically it was my love for music. I realized I didn't have the skill or talent to be a professional musician. All my friends were musicians. I was playing in a little band, and my girlfriend at the time was the lead singer. So I just picked up a camera. I started taking pictures of her. My friends were musicians, and I realized, you know what? Since I love music, I know how to capture these people. So I had an eye for it. And that kind of led me to my first job as an assistant to a big rock and roll photographer in New York. And yeah, so music brought me to photography. Mark Weiss, he was a big 80s rock and roll photographer. I was his assistant, I helped in all the shoots, but then he started sending me out on photo shoots to shoot live concerts. And I built up my portfolio, I made connections with record companies. Finally went on my own after 2 years, and I just started shooting a lot of concerts and portraits of musicians. I remember the first professional shoot I did was backstage at some musical TV show, and the two people I photographed was Jeff Beck and Bill Wyman of the Rolling Stones. And being a Rolling Stones fan, I was pretty intimidated. Kind of couldn't believe that I was there taking a picture of the Rolling Stones. So it was a good start. Some of the big names, I was official photographer for Elton John, 2 of his concerts in Madison Square Garden. Just hired by record companies and magazines to shoot a lot of people. Got to meet a lot of my musical idols, which was great. To shoot Paul McCartney briefly backstage at Madison Square Garden. So yeah, that was pretty amazing. David Bowie I photographed, B.B. King, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimmy Page, Robert Plant. I mean, the list goes on. That's a lot of musicians. Yeah, a lot of great musicians. I'm pretty lucky. And now I have all these great photos, and I sell them on T-shirts, and I sell them as framed photos. So my specialty now is headshots. So I kind of got over the music. I was good at that, but I really found my headshot. That was how I was going to make my living. When I was doing the music, I kind of thought, well, maybe I'll be a fashion photographer. Being around beautiful models, it's not a bad job. I quickly found out I wasn't really into the fashion world. I was just really good at portraits. I wanted to shoot talented people. I wanted to shoot musicians, actors. So I just started shooting portraits, and I took my portfolio, and I think a big break probably was somebody recommended I go see a soap opera magazine that was based out of New Jersey, which wasn't too far from me. And they looked at my portfolio, and they started hiring me, and actors and actresses started recommending me. So yeah, and then I expanded to all kinds of people, news people. And my studio's in New York City. I'm on 26th Street. I do location. I go on location. We fly to Florida. Now we just started shooting in Jupiter. We come to Virginia, DC, twice a year, and sometimes Nashville. I'm married to the greatest woman ever. It took me a long time to find her, but I found her. Clear across the country. Well, people always laugh. I would say we met on Instagram, basically. We're very much into veterans and military causes. So she was involved with a lot of that, so it caught my attention. Married 2 years. And yeah, best thing I ever did. I think she's very supportive. She's like my biggest fan, and just does everything to help promote me. So she's amazing. I think if I really could pick my dream project, I would like to just photograph portraits of Medal of Honor recipients.
Think of the teenagers who are too afraid to start maybe taking pictures. And do you have, thoughts to give out?
Yeah, well, I remember when I was kind of made an announcement with my family, and they had friends around. And I always remember one of my mother's friends said, and I always remember she said, no, don't be a photographer. I guess my advice would be, you get rejections. Best people get rejections. Elvis Presley was told to go back to truck driving. The Beatles were rejected. Everybody's rejected. So you know, might hurt, sting for a little bit. So, but that kind of gives you a little, like, you know, a little fire, and say, okay, well, I'll show you. So I did. You know, luckily, you know, some people would have been beaten down by those criticisms and not pursued it. So I'm glad I did.